Hey, good weekend to you. Welcome to Leading Edge. I'm Jerry Anderson. Good to have you along. It was an announcement that really shook up the professional golf world, especially women's golf, and it has a distinct Toledo flavor ahead. ProMedica's CEO, Randy Ostro, on the decision of his company to become the title sponsor of the U.S. Women's Open, and how a fattened purse there helps really level the playing field, or should I say golf course, in professional golf. But up first on our program today, she wants to be Ohio's next governor. You have met her opponent, a former Cincinnati mayor, on our program. Gives me great pleasure to welcome in the former Dayton mayor, Nan Whaley, to Leading Edge. She actually was part of the field 4 years ago. She dropped out to support the eventual Democratic nominee, Richard Cordray. You remember him. He would go on to lose to Mike DeWine. Mayor, good to see you. Let's do this off the top. As we talk here midweek, we got a decision from the Ohio Supreme Court about Ohio's state legislative districts. That's 33 Senate seats, folks, 99 House seats, that says the recently redrawn districts, which disproportionately favor Republicans, do not pass constitutional muster based on an amendment we all passed as voters in big numbers back in 2018. You have to work with these people down the street there at Broad and High in Columbus. Your reaction to the Supreme Court's ruling?
Well, I'm super pleased that the bipartisan court ruled in a bipartisan fashion with more than 70% of Ohioans who voted to end gerrymandering, and a bipartisan majority on the Ohio Supreme Court listened to them, which is what government is supposed to do. You know, Jerry, I just hope Governor DeWine has the courage to do what is right this time and support fair constitutional maps as it heads back to the redistricting commission.
Well, I would hope so too, Nan, because if you recall, the three statewide office holders on that 7-member panel, they kind of tried to wash their hands and said, well, we weren't really part of the nitty-gritty, but then turned around and voted for those maps. That should be an embarrassing ruling then this week. I would hope that they would roll up their sleeves and tell the legislative folks, we got this. We've been embarrassed once. We'll take it from here.
That's what we're hoping. And I mean, look, this is what we elect people to do. This is their job. And to abdicate their job when 70% of Ohioans say this is what we want, and then to be so wishy-washy about it, it's just another example of Governor DeWine's inability to lead during tough times.
Well, let's go there too, because you say that Ohio has become the worst state in the country for public corruption.
I don't say it, Jerry. The FBI says it.
Okay, we'll go with the feds, but let's stay with that, because how do you run against that huge bribery case masterminded, the feds say, by the Republican House Speaker, Larry Householder, who, folks, he may go from the Ohio House to the big house, although he's not been convicted yet. How do you attack that when many members of your own party voted in favor of the tainted bill in question, HB 6?
Well, look, I think very few Democrats actually voted for HB 6. It's not a lot at all. I disagreed with them at the time, and I disagree with them now because the bill was bad even before we knew the $61 million of bribery. It didn't make much sense why it was passed. At the beginning of the bill, there was a coal plant in Indiana subsidized from the beginning. The rollback of renewable energy was from the beginning. So we are not getting the investment in new energy jobs that we know are coming. You know, walking away from Ohio's workers and growth is what this bill did. And of course, you know, the only reason why it happened was because there was $61 million in bribes to the same leaders over and over again at the State House that have been there for decades. And Jerry, let me be clear, Mike DeWine was complicit in the scandal. You know, First Energy funded his win in 2018. He hired their top lobbyist to be the head utility regulator.
The head utility regulator who had, by the way, we now accepted a check for $4 million.
Yes. First Energy admits that now. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We gave him $4 million to look out for us, not you all. And the governor asked First Energy to go and fund a super PAC for his daughter running for Greene County prosecutor. He has admitted to that too. So, you know, the nepotism, the corruption, and the FBI saying that the Ohio State House is the most corrupt state house in the country takes some work to do here.
Your opponent, John Cranley's been on our show. He touts the Cincinnati miracle. You know that. A comeback, he says, which has seen the Queen City's population turn around its decline and is growing again. What about Nan Whaley's 8 years in Dayton as mayor can we point to that merits our consideration of your campaign for governor?
Right. I'm really proud of the work we did, all of us together in Dayton over the past 8 years. And we've been through some tough times, as you know, Jerry. You know, as a mayor, you don't have the luxury of turning away and saying things aren't your problem. And 2019 put a fine point on that for me, from devastating tornadoes, a KKK rally coming into our community, and then the senseless mass shooting that left 9 dead in our community in 32 seconds. So you have to lead with conviction and courage through that. And I'm proud of how Daytonians came out stronger. But at the same time, we were also very offensive about the things we've been able to do during my time as mayor, like passing high quality preschool for every 3-year-old and 4-year-old. So our kids are ready for kindergarten. And that investment in our children has paid off investment in other ways. We've seen over $1 billion of investment in downtown Dayton. You ask anyone in the city, downtown feels different. We've cleaned blight in our neighborhoods, so that way we can rebuild and put market back into our neighborhoods. And, you know, legacy cities and mid-sized cities like Dayton and Toledo aren't the fancy cities of Ohio. You have to have local leaders actually stepping up and doing that hard work. And while we've been doing that, we have not had a partner at the State House. And that's one of the things that really drives me in this race. Because of the corruption, because of the extreme politics, we don't have a partner. And so all cities are on their own. As governor, that's what I want to do, is really partner with local communities. I know how they can make a difference, and imagine what could be done in cities like Toledo and Dayton if we had a real State House that cared about communities that aren't just begin with the letter C.
She is Nan Whaley, former mayor down there in Dayton, and she served in the city commission. That's like our city council, right?
It's a little smaller. It's like 4 folks, but very similar.
Okay. And then a couple of terms as mayor. I need to take a break, Nan Whaley. I'll be back with more. She's the Democratic candidate for governor. Of course, the primary is coming up May 3rd, folks, so it's not that far out there. That's why we're doing this stuff now. This is Leading Edge. We're back with more right after this.